Glumo is meant to be a tool of support for people who suffer from diabetes, providing a continuous monitoring service for the glycemic levels. Our idea is to get rid of the traditional methods, integrating our app with new monitoring technology and improving it by replacing the glucometer with the smartphone, providing functionalities such as background glucose readings, alarms, and emergency SMS. The homepage will provide for the user a graphical representation of the last outcomes of the monitoring service, including charts and numerical values. As said, the app provides a continuous background monitoring, which retrieves data at regular intervals of time. Alternatively, the user can manually query the sensor by pressing a simple button or by shaking the phone if this functionality is enabled in the settings. In both cases, the smartphone communicates with the sensor by Bluetooth connection. If a dangerous glycemic value is detected, the application will issue an alarm notification that will result in an emergency SMS if not acknowledged by the user after a number of repetitions chosen in the settings. By an intuitive sidebar menu, the user will then be able to access all the functionalities provided by the app. Analytical representation of the history, with possibility to access data for the last 24 hours, 7 days and 30 days with charts included. A bolus calculation tool based on the user's glycemic parameters, provided with the possibility of retrieving carbohydrates values for the current meal from a remote database as input for the computation. The user just has to provide a quantity expressed in grams for every food of the meal, and the app will compute an approximation for the relative dose of insulin. A simple service of data backup and recovery, both on cloud and local storage. The settings page, by which the user can change and update his preferences at any time. I mainly worked on designing the front end, taking into account the user experience and developing the XML layouts for both activities and fragments. Then I worked with the API for retrieving food nutritional values. Finally, I handled the Arduino electronic components and led the testing.
I spent most of my time building back-end functionalities, such as the Bluetooth service class for query the sensor and the logic behind it, the mechanism around the intents and the local broadcast, and lastly, the alarm notification system joined with the emergency SMS.
I mostly worked on the functionalities of data management. In particular, I implemented the handler class for the database, with all the related methods. I also worked on the functionalities for importing and exporting data with CSV format, implementing data backup and retrieval on local storage, Google Drive and Dropbox.
As external resources, we use some open source libraries from GitHub and also APIs from Google Drive, Dropbox and USDA.